Hello there today, Crypt Dwellers. Today, I'll be covering a game by Crazy Viking Studios called Volgarr the Viking, a gem hidden in shadow on all systems. Volgarr the Viking, as you may guess, just by the cover, is a nod to the old 16-bit era of gaming. With its simple movement and button patterns, it quickly becomes apparent that this game is not one of chance, but rather of you mastering its controls and then executing on them. Let's see how this old 16-bit gem holds up to the standards of today's gaming. You start armed with 3 simple tools to complete your mission of slaughtering everything before you. Your trusty iron sword, your spear for taking out enemies at a range or to make a temporary platform, and finally, your shield, which is your one-up, your ability to take one blow without dying, where if you die, you get set back to the start of the level or to the midpoint of the level. Now, this game is quite simple, progress to the right to continue, go through the dungeon, slaughter anything before you for coins. Now that's all nice and simple, but there's something I really enjoy about this game, how they have these treasure chests hidden away that will give you buffs if you collect them. For instance, the first buff it gives you is a helmet, which is basically another one-up, so if you get hit, you take 2 blows, which trust me, later on in the game, this really helps out. So make sure to always keep yourself observant for any platforms that look like they can be jumped on with a spear, because usually they're trying to hide stuff away. I really like this in games, so it makes it where you're not just progressing through the dungeon, only worrying about enemies. It also makes it where you have to be observant of what's around you and the possible things that you can exploit around you. With that, let's go into the story. As you can probably tell, this isn't really much of a story game, just a little slaughter to the end. If you do beat the game, you get a brief description of what Volgarr does after the end of the game. Most of them are pretty funny or just happy. So, let's go into the real thing about this game, the difficulty. This game is hard. Let me just say that straight up. Very few players can actually make it to the end of the base game alone. It took me multiple days of hours on hours of gameplay to get past a few of the levels. But man, is it a sweet release to beat one of the levels, just barely squeezing past the boss. Those who enjoy stuff like Dark Souls for this reason should enjoy this game immensely. But if you're looking to just sit down and play for 5 minutes, do not buy this game. It's not the game for you. You'll quickly drop it, because it's the kind of game, unless you're sitting down and investing time into it, you won't make no progress. In reality, you could complete this game within an hour and a half, but you would have to be knowing exactly where you're supposed to go, exactly what you're supposed to do. For me, it took me about 2 weeks to complete this game. That includes me learning all the mechanics and testing a few things out I want to test out. The game consists of 4 main levels, which may not sound like much, but they're pretty big. But also, there's an alternate set of levels you can complete if you beat the previous level without dying. Complete all of those prerequisites, you'll be allowed to do 1 bonus level at the end of the game. This bonus level is not the hardest, but it does unlock the best ending for the game, the true ending for Volgarr the Viking. I made it to this point, and let me just say, it was a great rewarding thing. I'm really glad I actually was able to commit to the game and get this far. A few things I would like to say about this game is I would like to see more levels, because whenever you do finish it, it seems like it's short. And maybe a little bit more enemy variety. There's a good amount, but you could tell with the fire levels and the starter levels, they were running limited on assets. But for what it is, it's a really great game and definitely worth the $15 it's going to charge you for it. So, I personally want to rate this game, let me just correct, 4 out of 5 iron swords.